Hey guys, it's Jessii V. So I originally wasn't gonna talk about this story because so many people seem to make kidnapping stories on YouTube, so I didn't really want anybody to think, oh, she's just trying to be like everybody else. No, guys, in all seriousness, I was almost kidnapped twice, so I just decided, you know what? I am just gonna tell you guys about it. Hopefully you can learn something from my experiences. You all seem to like hearing things that have happened to me in my life, so yeah, I'm just gonna tell you. The scariest time that I was almost kidnapped happened during my second year of college, which was only about 2 years ago. I always used to commute to school really early in the morning. So early that the sun had barely even gone up, so it was really dark outside. I had to take a train, then a subway, then a bus to get to school. It took me about 2.5 hours every day, which, as you can imagine, it was very long and very boring. I had to always remember to bring like a book or music or something to keep me occupied. I always hated getting off the train because I had to make a 12-minute walk from the train station to the subway station in pitch black. I always had to go under this really sketchy bridge with like a bunch of dark alleyways on either side of it. And for some reason, I was always like the only person to get off at that stop, so I was pretty much usually alone, except for the odd time where maybe one person would get off with me. Now that I think back to it, that is so dangerous, especially because that area that I was walking down was known for crimes. So the particular day that I was almost taken, I had gotten off the train and started walking underneath that sketchy bridge. I always tried to walk as fast as I could, just so that I could get to the subway station and feel safe again. On this day, I could hear someone walking behind me, so I turned around to see who was there. This man with an oversized coat and really baggy jeans and a rip where his knee was just following me. And he was getting a little too close for comfort, so I began to walk much faster. And this guy starts running up to me. Like at first, I thought he was gonna attack me or something because he was just running right at me. But as soon as he caught up to me, he kind of slowed down to my pace. He started off making small talk like, how are you? Nice weather we're having, stuff like that. But then he starts commenting on my appearance, saying things like, oh, have you seen yourself lately? You're gorgeous. How do you not have a man with you right now? Do you have a boyfriend? Where do you live? Do you walk here every day? Just things that would make anybody feel very uncomfortable, especially because it was a complete stranger asking me these things. And then he asks me if I'm hungry, and I start to get really irritated at this point, so I just tell him that I'm running really late and that I can't talk. And then he says, oh, I was just wondering if you were hungry because I want to take you out. Let me take you out to breakfast with me. And I obviously say no thank you and keep walking. At this point, we were kind of walking by this dark alleyway, and he asks me one more time to go with him. As soon as I say no, he grabs my arm extremely hard and starts pulling me into this hidden area between two buildings. And guys, I started screaming for him to let go of me. And he just kept saying, like, you need to come with me, you need to come with me, and he was pulling me into this little area. The good thing was that he wasn't that strong, which is why I feel like I didn't end up getting kidnapped or harmed, because he was not able to pull me into that alley. I was pulling way too hard away from him and he just couldn't. I was able to get his grip from off of me and I just ran towards that subway station. And the eeriest thing was that as I was running away from him, he said, I'll wait for you in this spot every single day so I can see you again. I remember calling my parents, still in complete shock, and just telling them what happened. We had to call the police and we went through this huge process and they were never able to find him. And what really scared me was that night there was a homicide in the exact place that guy tried to take me. I'm not saying it was him, I don't know, but it really scares me that it took place right there. So since that happened, I obviously started taking a different route to school because I did not want to run into him, and I never have. And honestly, it took me a little while to get over what happened. It's a scary thing, and I just want to let you guys know that you should never ever walk by yourself in the dark or in a secluded area where there's nobody else. Always make sure there's somebody around that can help you if anything like that happened, because there was no one around me. Thank goodness he wasn't a really strong man. Oh, it's just so dangerous. And then there was one other time that something like this happened to me. It wasn't as scary, but it was still obviously really creepy. It was back when I went to Aruba with my friend Danielle. It was, I think, 2011, and I actually made a video about our Aruba trip a few months ago. It was the one with the shark while we were scuba diving, if you guys remember that one. But I never mentioned the almost getting kidnapped part. Because like I said, I didn't know if I should, but I'm just gonna say it. One night, while we were there, Danielle and I wanted to go explore some shops and some restaurants, and we were tired of staying in the gates of the resort, so we decided to leave it, which you should never do if you're not familiar with the area. And it's not like we went far from the resort, but we still left it, which you shouldn't do. And it was nighttime, so there was just sketchy people out everywhere. So we grabbed some ice cream and then we started heading back to the resort. We walked past this guy who was sitting on the side of the road, and as we passed him, he stood up and started following us. And in order to get into the resort, we had to pass through this like gated area, and this guy walked right in front of us before we can enter. So he was pretty much blocking our way in. He then tells us that we're looking very sexy, which completely grossed me out because guys, this man was probably in his late 40s and we were about 16 at the time. And we were wearing these like beach dresses because it was super hot that night, and we asked him politely to move out of our way, and he laughs to himself and says, "But you look so good. We should go out and do something." And my friend gets really defensive at this point and just like pushes him out of the way and says no. So she goes into the gates of the resort, and as I'm passing him to go in, he like grabs my hand and he's like, "Oh, are you sure? Are you sure you don't want to go with me?" And thank goodness Danielle's mom comes into view. She like turns the corner and sees us because she had been worrying about us because we kind of just went out to do our own thing and we hadn't been back in a while, so she was just about to come look for us. And thank goodness it was the perfect time she showed up, because the minute that guy saw her, he got scared and like walked off, because obviously he was a grown adult man and we're two 16-year-olds. But yeah, it was just a scary experience. Like guys, both of those times that those things happened to me, I was like away from people in the dark. It's just, don't do that. I hope you guys learned from this, and I hope you guys found this somewhat interesting, informative. That is the end of my time for today. Well, my voice just like cracked. As usual, my social media information is in the description, along with my vlog channel and my P.O. box information, so yeah, check it out, and until next time guys, bye!